In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Last Command 4-pack for the Black Series 6-inch line. Very exciting release on Hasbro's part. Probably one of the highlights for this year for the Black Series. We never thought we would get characters like Mara Jade in general in the Black Series line, or would ever see the light of day again in Hasbro Star Wars. But they surprised us about a year and a half ago with Mara Jade there, which I do have a review of on the channel. And then now we got this 4-pack that includes a second release of Mara Jade. This time, it's the same exact action figure as this one, except that includes the hooded head version of her, which is a very welcome addition. And I definitely will be swapping the head out of the action figure in here with her hooded head, and have both of them side by side. Then we also got Joruus C'baoth, who, of course, if you've read the Thrawn trilogy or you're familiar with it, he's the clone Jedi Master that ends up working for Thrawn, and I'll talk more about his story here in a little bit. But then we also have the clone of Luke, and I'll explain his story and how he came to be. Then we have Luke Skywalker, the real Luke Skywalker. Here it's listed as an expanding universe Luke, but it's basically a Return of the Jedi Luke. I think it's basically the Return of the Jedi Luke that was supposed to come with the HasLab Rancor. It looks very similar, that is. Of course, it has more of an indoor capture look to him. But it's a nice addition. So here's the package. It's a lot larger than I thought it was going to be. Very nice artwork there. So believe it or not, as much Expanding Universe material I've read like the entirety of the X-Wing series, I've read the entirety of the Legacy of the Force book series, I've read most of the New Jedi Order, Darth Main trilogy, you name it, lots of standalone books as well. I never sat down and read the Thrawn trilogy. Last Command is part 3 of that trilogy, but this is the comic book adaptation of it. But perhaps I'll sit down and read it someday. Biggest reason why I haven't is I've pretty much have known the story for a very long time. And I figured, well, I pretty much know exactly what happens in it, so I'm not going to take the time to read it. But I'm sure there's lots of details in it that I've missed over the years or haven't been made aware of. It's a pretty nice image there. I have Mara Jade, some stormtroopers. Luke and Luke dueling it out, and then Joruus. Then we got some additional artwork along the sides here. Then you open it up here, show off the figures. It's very nice. Little description there: in Star Wars The Last Command, Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade must confront Jedi Master Joruus C'baoth in a last-ditch effort to save the Republic from Grand Admiral Thrawn's overwhelming forces. And some images from the actual comic. Let's go ahead and get this open. So we need to do some additional cutting here. It does have a background in here, might be worth keeping. No. I don't want to risk tearing it up for now, but just kind of show you what it looks like. Then we have this plastic tray. Joris here. Looks like he's from the biblical times. Then we got the real Luke Skywalker here. And doesn't that pretty much look like the Luke that was supposed to come with the HasLab Rancor? At least Hasbro hasn't let the tooling go to waste. Let's see here. It's a lightsaber for Joris, pretty standard. There's a red blade. I think more often than not, most of the art we see of Joris usually has him with the Force Lightning. This character is one of the playable heroes in the Thrawn's Revenge mod for Empire at War. One thing I do notice is these lightsaber blades seem to be kind of loose on the hilts. They don't stay in the place very well. There's Luke's saber, pretty standard. Next we have the clone of Luke. Kind of looks like he's reutilizing an Obi-Wan body. It's a pretty good looking Luke. So the way he came to be is apparently just before Return of the Jedi, Vader finds Luke's severed hand and also Anakin's old lightsaber, and then they take the hand to Wayland and it stays there. Then after Vader and Palpatine's deaths in Return of the Jedi, eventually Thrawn, I think, gets a hold of it, or the project, and maybe Joris is involved with it as well, the clone of Joris. And then of course they clone Luke Skywalker from it. And I don't think the clone lasted very long, maybe less than a year. Another Mary Jade here. Looks a little bit different. I think the hairpiece is set on a little bit different. Belt seems to be a little bit darker as well. Other than that, same action figure. It's the alternative head. This is actually probably one of the main attractions to the set. And it's the same lightsaber. Yeah. Doesn't look like there's much difference. Then Mayor's blaster. And I think that's pretty much it for all the accessories. Still not the most handsome looking Luke in the world. I think he's supposed to look a little bit off since he is a clone. And Anakin's lightsaber here. It's like you can plug it into his belt. Yeah. Hilt on this one's pretty stuck. Wasn't the case for Luke's green saber and then Joras's. Kind of a small grip for his right hand here. Put it in his left hand for now then. Sleeves there kind of have a deep cut around the wrist, so it's kind of hard to put the lightsaber in his hand. It's kind of difficult to get some of these figures to want to stand. Thankfully it's not too hard to take off her head. Looks pretty good. This alternative head alone is almost enough to make this whole set worth it. I've been thinking on this the last few days, and quite frankly, I think this Heir of the Empire Luke is my favorite Black Series Luke. This one's pretty good. The head sculpt, it's not perfect, but I think it's better on this one. I know this is just a straight repaint of the Dagobah Luke. I think the way they did the hair was pretty good. It's just a very nice action figure. Even compared to the Jabba's Palace Luke, that one's a pretty good action figure as well. It's definitely not 100% perfect. At least now, technically, I have an indoor capture Luke in the collection again. I know I've mentioned it before, I used to own the original from 2014, but the head sculpt on that action figure is terrible. So that's one I, quite frankly, am not too upset about parting ways with. And now we have this more definitive one. It does have the hook on the hilt there where you can attach it to his belt. Last but not least, we have Joris. Looks pretty good. Very muscular. This Luke is just very difficult to get his ankles to stay in place. And like I said, I think it's more iconic for Joris to have his lightning hands, so that's what we're going to switch him out for. Almost just looks like Palpatine hands. That looks pretty good. I think I'm definitely going to make a part 2 for this set at some point. So far, I'm really impressed with it. I like how it turned out. It does have a lot of reuse. It's very obvious with the repack of Mara there. And of course, Luke here, and then even Joris, I would assume. Joris might be all new parts. Let's see what his legs look like. Yeah, those legs are probably brand new. And then this Luke here, even though that was probably based off the HasLab Luke, that's probably the same body that comes with the Imperial Light Star Cruiser Luke from The Mandalorian. Just a few different accessories. So basically a repack, 2 retools, and 1 new action figure. But I'm very happy to have this set in my collection. As a fan of the expanding universe, I would say this is a must-have. And I'll definitely do some more videos featuring these 4 at some point. Just doing a initial look, initial impression. And I'm very happy I got this. It's very pricey at this time. I wouldn't be surprised though if in the future Hasbro runs a sale on these. I think it was exclusive to Hasbro Pulse, and it was $89.99 if I recall correctly. $90, it's very debatable if this is $90 of value. But like I said, as a fan of the EU, I was okay paying the price for this. Same thing with like the Starkiller set. Even though that did end up going on sale recently for like $47, I don't mind paying the original price for it. And I think that's the same case for this. But I would highly recommend this set for your collection, just for my initial impression. Although if you're not in a rush for it, I think there's a good chance you'll be able to find a sale for it eventually. So stay tuned for more videos featuring these in the future. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I just appreciate all your support. And check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. And as always, thanks for watching.